Hello, everyone, and welcome to the series that I am having so much fun making for this Victober, Victorian Desert Island Reads, where I have interesting guests come on and tell me the five Victorian books they would want with them if they were stranded on a desert island. And I am having just such a fun time getting to hear people's lists and kind of the reasoning behind the selections that they have made. So today I am joined by a fellow booktuber, Art. And I will make sure to link Art's channel down below. If you like Victorian literature, you got some great material ahead of you. So, Art, thank you
Mhm.
so much for being willing to join me for this.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm excited to be on. I managed to narrow it down to about five, so I,
Excellent, excellent. I
I'm
know it's
excited.
it's
Yeah,
very that's a small amount. So,
right.
you're brave for
I, I
for
had to be
narrowing it down.
choosy. I had to be choosy. So,
Yes, yes. I mean, only the best for being stranded, right?
right. That's right. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Alrighty. So, without further ado, what is your first title?
okay. Just to not bury the lead here and to stay on brand, I decided to go with A Christmas Carol uh, by
Ah,
Charles Dickens. So, what I was thinking, since I'd be stranded, perhaps on this deserted island, I would need comfort reads. So these aren't necessarily, well, they're my top favorite, but Christmas Carol, I just can't go anywhere without this book. And I have many versions. I picked this one. It's the one illustrated by Lynch. Gorgeous illustrations. I think some of the best illustrations in any edition. So that way I could have some nice pictures to look at too.
that's
But
such a good thought to have an illustrated edition of something.
yeah, yeah, it's I think especially A Christmas Carol. I mean, it's a story I think probably most are familiar with, but it has such a visual, I think a visual component to the story. I have some editions that aren't illustrated and they kind of lack something, I think. So, um, but anyway, that's like the book I would save in a fire if I only could grab one. I mean, that's my all time favorite. So that's on brand with me, I guess. So,
Yes, yes, you are such a Dickens fan. And I love that you kind of know solidly the one that you would pick if you had to just pick one.
mm,
And it is Christmas all over the world. So you want to have something festive. Although you
right.
can read it any time of the year.
That's right. Yeah, and I
Yes.
have actually.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah,
So do you read it every Christmas?
I do. Yeah, every Christmas I read it. I know as recent as 2020, I actually read it in the spring. That was the
Nice.
pandemic year, and I just needed
Oh,
some comfort, and everyone was turning to Christmas, so I thought, well, why not?
yes.
Um, and then I also have several audiobook versions that I'll like to listen to, and honestly, my favorite is one by Gerald Dickens. He's Charles Dickens's great 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 grandson,
Wow.
and he does a one man show of it, which I've been able to see a few times. But
Very
then he also
cool.
did an audiobook version, and it's the full audiobook. Um, it's not edited down like his one man show is. It's the full audiobook,
Mm.
and I love that. That's probably my favorite, but there are a lot of good ones out there.
There are the Jim Kay does a great job
Mm.
reading it. Or not Jim Kay, Jim Dale. Jim
Jim
Dale.
Dale, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That's a good one. And I was trying to think of others, but there's quite a few.
There
Anyway,
really are. You're
yeah,
spoiled for choice when it comes to A Christmas Carol on audio.
yeah, yeah.
And do you have a favorite film version?
Oh, that's hard. Probably I think it's about 1951. It's black and white. I can't think of the guy's name now, off the top of my head.
Is it Alistair somebody?
Alistair, yeah, Alistair Sims. Yeah.
Okay.
That might be more nostalgia because that's the
Mhm.
version I watched, growing up with my dad. We'd watch it. But I mean, there's a few I like for different reasons. I love the Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yes.
That's probably pretty close to being a favorite as well,
Mhm.
and one that is actually pretty sticks pretty close to the book, believe it or not, for the most part.
I
They make
know.
some,
It's shocking.
yeah, yeah, they make some interesting changes here and there, but that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I I don't know. There's a few modern ones I like. They're
Mhm.
always coming out with a new one every year, so you'll
Yeah.
eventually find one you like.
Yes. What I think is interesting is It's a Wonderful Life is kind of the inverse of
Hmm.
A Christmas Carol, where it's someone who is a morally upright character who sees what life would be like without him.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Which is another powerful story to be honest. I mean, that's
yes.
uh, it really just celebrates a good man, and the impact
Yes.
a good man, one man can have
Yes.
in his community. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. It
Uh,
always makes me cry.
Yeah, and that one was that movie is my grandpa's favorite movie.
Oh,
He would quote it. He loved it. He watched it every year. So um, I could see a lot of how he lived had been influenced by that story.
that's so great.
Yeah. Uh,
Alrighty, so on to the second book.
okay. And it's going to be another Dickens.
Yes.
I really thought about taking my favorite full length novel, which is A Tale of Two Cities, but I thought I'd want something a little more comforting. So I went with the Pickwick Papers, which I'm planning to read during Victober, um, and I might do a read along too throughout the fall. I'm not sure yet, but this book just makes me laugh. It's Dickens's first novel, and it's not really a novel as we would think of it. It really is more like a TV show. Um,
Yes.
it has, of course, excellent characters in it. Pickwick is the main character. He's formed a sort of club that they go around having adventures, is really the summary of the story. Along the way, Dickens does begin to turn it into a novel, but at the start, it was very much like sketch episodes. And so, like, every 3 or 4 chapters tells a story. So one of the cheats here is that you're on a deserted island. There's nothing there to to do. So I could have either a novel or little episodes I can dip in here and there, um, and just keeping the theme of Christmas. There's some excellent Christmas chapters in this book too that never fails to make me laugh.
Oh, and the incident with the mistaken hotel room
Yes.
is one of my absolute favorites.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Samuel Weller, I think, is just an exceedingly quotable character.
Yes. Yes. That I was just reading today an introduction to the novel, um, and it was talking about how the sales of Pickwick paper, because it was done in installments, I think 20 installments over about 2 years or so, I guess how that would work out. But the sales skyrocketed after Samuel Weller was introduced, and that was really the first character that Dickens wrote that captured the imagination of the city of the nation. Um,
Wow.
and
I did
so
not know that.
he and Pickwick became like his first big hit, in part because of Samuel Weller and the humor and everything. Just it was like lightning striking,
Yes.
and so people began to because copyright wasn't really an issue back then, they began to sell products. These are Samuel Weller's corduroy pants, and these are Pickwick buttons, things like that. They would
Get
just
out.
capitalize on his popularity, which I think rightly so made him a little tiffed. People were making money off of his property.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And then, I think maybe we've spoken about before, do people writing spin-offs,
Right.
um, and just no such thing as copyright in that.
Right.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There would be plays done before the book was even finished. and that wasn't even just with Pickwick Papers. I know there were was Nicholas Nickleby one that they would do that especially.
Wow.
Maybe Oliver Twist as well. But yeah, this is the book that launched him into the stratosphere of celebrity. But all that aside, it is a funny story. It's just Dickens. I want to say his humor at its best, but it's kind of like his first try, you know.
Yeah.
And like, well, it's all downhill from here, you know. But it's a book I've all of these books I'm bringing I've read more than once, so I know they can uphold rereads, and it's such a comfort read for sure. And it's one where you can just dip into whatever chapter you might find and get a new story. You know,
Yes.
if you plan it right, yeah.
Yeah.
I love books like that.
Very episodic.
Yeah.
And that's, like you said, it's like TV. Like I am much more willing to commit to, well, I'll watch this half hour, episode of this TV show
Hmm.
than committing to an entire movie.
Right. Right. Yeah, and you know, there's always talk. People have pondered, you know, if Dickens were alive today, what would he be writing? And there's various answers, like TV shows. The one I hate is like, oh, he'd be a soap opera writer, and I'm like, I don't know about that. He's too good of a writer for that. But
Yes.
but especially some of his earlier novels, they really do kind of follow an episodic pattern, and you can see um, you know, how that would fit, I think, really well for TV. So, you know, do we need another Christmas Carol adaptation? Probably not, but we could use like a Pickwick miniseries. I think that would be a
Yes.
lot of fun.
There is an older miniseries of Pickwick, but I've never watched it. I have no idea if it's any good.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to say it's like late 70s or early 80s, which
Yeah,
is old enough for me to not really be interested in. I don't
I
know.
know. I know what you mean. I feel like it's kind of like the 90s is when miniseries kind of really came into their own.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I like more the modern take on things, which can make me a I don't know, a liberal. I don't know what, but
Not a purist.
not a purist. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
no, so if it captures the spirit of it,
mm,
then it's done something right.
right, right. Yeah, there's an like I keep saying. Uh, there's a group I follow too about that every time they release a new Dickens adaptation, it's either Great Expectations or Christmas Carol. And
Yes.
we'll always post about it, but then we're like, but A Tale of Two Cities is right here, you know.
Yes.
There
Yes.
and that was one they had one I think in the 80s or maybe even early 90s. I don't know, but
Hmm.
it's just not it's not good. I don't
I've
know.
tried it too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't make it through it.
it's I don't know. Anyway, that's my pet peeves
Yeah.
aside. So,
Yes. Well, I
well,
yeah, I definitely share some of those sentiments when you have something that you love. It's just so painful to see it adapted in a way that you think isn't true to the story or is just dull.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And I'll withhold comments about the Netflix Persuasion movie then. So,
Oh,
sorry.
don't use that kind of language on my
Okay,
channel art.
sorry. Next thing you know, I'll be talking about Jude. Or no, sorry. I'll just be quiet.
I will have bleeped that in the editing, don't
Okay.
worry.
Okay. I
You
I
didn't say
was
the full title, so it's okay.
okay. Yeah, it's partial. Yeah.
Yes.
I could have, as I mentioned earlier, I could have brought that book for kindling or something onto the island. So anyway,
So book number three.
number three. Yeah. So this one is purely for the ambiance, I guess. Dracula, by Bram Stoker.
Ooh. Oh.
Um, it's towards the latter end of Victorian literature.
Mhm.
Um, but I love the atmosphere of just creepiness of the story. I think is very compelling um, and shocking for a Victorian novel with some of the content. You know, it's the first time I read it, I remember thinking, "Wow, this is really dark. I can't believe they put this in a Victorian novel." And I wonder what Victorians thought about this, you know. And um, but it's held up over several readings, and I love to read it during October or November, even where the nights are cold and dark, and it just sets a mood of I don't know, creepiness, you know. And
Yes.
it's one I love to reread. Oddly enough, a comfort read.
No, I know exactly what you mean. That's
Yeah.
even when there's a darker Victorian novel, there's still a sort of weird coziness about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been scared to reread Dracula because I loved it so much. I
Mm,
don't know how it would feel to read it again, but it
mm.
really yeah, it's just so gripping.
Yeah. See, I'm thinking about my time on this deserted island, and if I've assuming I've managed to start a fire, which could that in itself could be a
Fingers
challenge.
crossed.
Yeah. uh, but I was just picturing like being outside at night with the campfire going, you know, and just the nature sounds at night, and then reading this book. I'd probably not sleep. uh, as many times as I've read it, you know, I don't know, three or four, five times I've read it, somewhere in
Yes.
that range. But yeah, it gets me on the edge of my seat every time.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so. Would you ever want to go to Whitby?
Um, Now, where's that?
So
Or
where the cathedral is,
oh, okay,
and there's the remains of the Whitby Cathedral, and I'm pretty sure every autumn they have a Dracula play put on in the remains of the cathedral.
okay, sure. Yeah, I'd be up for it.
Yeah.
Definitely. I have my wife and I have this bucket list of literary places we want to go to celebrate some of our favorite books. We're gonna have to spend a lot of time in England, I think.
You know, can I have like a 5 year literary trek?
Right. Yeah. I need a very rich patron to just with no strings attached. Just give me a ton of money to say, oh, go travel,
Oh, yes,
make
that would be
videos.
like living a Hallmark movie there.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
Yes.
But yeah. 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 Now that you say all that, yeah, I know what you were saying there, but yeah, I definitely would. That would be that would be fun. Um, yeah. So Dracula. And then I needed some Elizabeth Gaskell, and I really tossed around about which one to take. So I decided to go with Gothic Tales, so I can have a short story collection. Mostly, I love her novels, but some of her well, Gothic Tales are are just fantastic. Like this edition has both the old nurse's story and the Gray Woman, who especially if you haven't read the Gray Woman, you need to read that. Um, that is so good.
I've
Um,
shamefully neglected her short stories.
mm. The Gray Woman is it's like a story within a story. So you know, it starts out with these people traveling, you know, touring different places, and they come to this one inn. I think it's an inn, but they see this portrait of a very its portrait's called the Gray Woman, and it's a very somber, sad looking portrait, and so the people there are asking about it, and so then the story is told of the Gray Woman, and it tells this very compelling and modern feeling story of a woman who marries, and it turns out her husband is this monster. Not a literal monster. Well, I guess you
Right.
could say, you know, but he's
Yeah.
just this awful person.
Mm.
He's involved in crime. He's a murderer. All these things, and she gets kind of caught up in that and discovers this. There's this real tense scene where she's hiding from him, and she hides under the table, and there's this dead body under the table, you know, and she's trying not to scream, while her husband and his cronies are out there. And so she escapes with the help uh, of her handmaid, I guess she is, or her servant, and they they actually disguise themselves as a husband and wife to escape her real husband, and it's just this thrilling tale of them trying to avoid capture. And it I won't spoil any more than I have already, but it's worth a read. Um, and I read this and I'm like, oh man, I can't believe she, again, one of those stories. I can't believe this was written, back in the, I don't know when it came out, 1870s or 60s, somewhere in that time frame.
That
But
does sound absolutely thrilling.
yeah, oh, it's a very exciting story. One of my favorite of Gaskell's works, which this year I just finished reading all of them, all of her main novels. I know there's still a few shorter novellas and some short stories I have left, but um, made it, finally got to Wives and Daughters, and that was one I was thinking of. But the unfinished ending still kind of I
That was hard
knew,
for you.
yeah, I knew where the story was going, and there was a little wrap up at the end by her editor, I guess, that kind of told what she had planned, which is better than Dickens's unfinished novel. But I still needed that final chapter or two. I just got it. I just needed it, but it
It's
was good.
not the same. It's not the same having an editor summary, and it will
Yeah,
never not completely devastate me when I get to the end. And I just
I
want these certain two characters to have a conversation,
I
and
know.
it's
Yeah, I'm
not
like,
going to happen.
as the chapter is getting that final chapter is getting close to being done, I'm like yelling at the main character, "Would you just hurry up? Hurry up! You've only got a chapter left."
And I forget this so often that Hyacinth has the last line in the book.
Yeah,
Like, no, she doesn't deserve that.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I but I managed to not let that affect me too much. But I did enjoy it. I probably still like North and South more.
I mean, it's a
Um,
beautiful book.
yeah, yeah. But even what I would call Gaskell's worst novel isn't bad at all. I don't even know.
Yes.
I know I think I'm pretty sure I did a video about them, but I can't remember what I picked as her as the bottom of the list. But
Yeah.
it was still a good book.
I know. Yeah, she doesn't really have a dud of a novel.
Yeah,
Um, so that is the one upside to her writing so few novels.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. Like she and Jane Austen has only a few, just
Mhm.
excellent work. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh.
Um,
All
all
right. So
right.
are we to the fifth
Yep.
one?
Number five.
Okay.
This was really hard because it's like the last one, um, and I decided to go with Silas Marner by George Eliot.
Ooh.
Um, I actually went to my shelves to get it, and it turns out I don't have a copy of Silas Marner, and I don't know why.
Oh,
So I need to rectify that. So this video helped me buy another book.
yes.
Um, and that anyway, Silas Marner is a story of an older man who finds a orphan girl um, outside of his cabin. He's kind of lives alone from the town. There's a lot of backstory in the beginning chapters as to why he pulled himself away from society. Um, and what I love about that story is how his relationship with her and becoming like a father to her um, heals his hurts, and he in a sense seeks redemption, even though he doesn't need redemption. But it's like um, it helps him heal what's broken, I guess you could say. And
Oh.
yeah, I'm being careful about spoilers for a 200-year-old book, but I hey, I hate spoilers. Okay, um,
Same.
yeah, I don't care how old the book is. Not everyone's read it.
That's story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I feel like that should just stay, let
Mm,
people discover kind of
yeah,
the mystery behind it.
yeah, yeah, and some some novels are it's such a part of our society that people know the twist without realizing it's a twist. Um,
Yes.
maybe that book, for instance, would be one.
Yeah.
But
I do feel like many people probably have figured it out.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, you're not going to hear it from us, you know.
Exactly, exactly. So
uh,
with Silas Marner,
mhm,
it's one that I hear people compare it to a fairy tale often. And in the
mhm,
timeline when I read it, I hadn't quite fallen in love with fairy tales like I have now. So it's one that I'm very much looking forward to rereading, and kind of
mm,
going in with the proper expectations because it does feel quite different from her other work.
yeah,
And yeah, I'm excited to come to it with fresh eyes.
yeah, and I need to reread it again. It's been a long time since
Mhm.
I've read it. Um, I mean, because apparently I don't have it. You know,
Yeah,
that's a good sign.
yeah.
Um, I was really wanting. It was a toss up between that or a Trollope, Anthony Trollope
Mm,
book, but I haven't read enough of Anthony Trollope yet to even reread some of the ones I've read. I do like the Barchester series. I
yes.
think it is whatever it's called, the Barsetshire.
I
Um,
think that's right. I always
yeah,
get it mixed up.
yeah, whatever. I like the second book and a couple of the other ones especially, but I haven't reread him enough. But George Eliot's Silas Marner, that's stood the test of time.
Mm.
One of the things I that that book is special to me is that it was one of the first Victorian novels I actually finished reading and understood.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
um, it it was was I a teenager even? I think I might have been. Um, and I had tried when I was much younger, you know, when I was like 12 or 13, I had tried Great Expectations and didn't finish it, but I read it enough to know I like this.
Mm.
I'm not there yet as a reader. You know, it's kind of beyond my reading capabilities. But that was one of the first ones that I read, and I read it. I finished it. I understood what was happening. You know, my reading level had ability had grown to the point where I could understand that. And yeah, and it was just a powerful story, and it's one I've revisited and have really enjoyed. Um, I like the father daughter kind of component to it as well. Um, and now I know I have a daughter now, and she's starting 11th grade this fall. So
Wow.
I'm getting old. Uh, but so I'd really like to reread that now in light of having an older daughter, and because it remember right, the story takes place some when she's younger, and then it does a little time jump where she's older.
Yes.
Um, and there's other things too, um, it explores issues like church politics in the sense of um, do the religious people of the town treat him like they ought to, which I think is actually a theme really relevant to today, and are we living like uh, with the love of Christ, you know, and the way we ought to. I think there's some challenging thoughts there as well, that are very thoughtful, to make you to make you think, not to sound repetitive there, but
No, yeah, and
yeah.
it's cool because but it's also at the same time, it has these really heavy themes, but it just feels like it's part of the story and not
Hmm.
like she's kind of beating you over the head with.
Yeah, yeah. It never, at least to my memory, it never feels like preaching.
Hmm.
Um, but
Yeah.
you know, I am used to Victorian literature, and you get that a lot sometimes. So,
Yes. Yes.
uh,
Yeah.
you know, like even in a Christmas Carol, there's some scenes where it's like, okay, you're not being subtle here, Dickens. You know, you're, especially the scene with ignorance and want. You know, that's like you couldn't be any
Yes.
more clear than what you're trying to get across here. But
Yes. Message received.
that's right. What I appreciate though is that in spite of those things, you know, these books are good stories, and so it doesn't just feel like I'm reading a sermon, and I'm reading a good story, and there's a lesson there if I want it, but but it's just a good story.
Yes. That is the magic of Victorian literature, which I
Mm,
just so appreciate about it, that it can be meaningful, but also just a thumping good read, as I've heard the
Yes,
category.
yes,
Um, yeah, so it can balance plot and kind of deeper themes, and it's just I love it for that.
yeah. Yeah, one the another Christmas one, the is it the Christmas Hirelings, I think it's called.
Yes, by
Yeah.
Braddon. Yeah.
Yes. I almost added that to the list. That might be an honorable mention, but I already had a Christmas novella there. So that one really cranks up the sentimentality, but again, I don't mind. It's fine. It's fun.
And especially at Christmas time.
Yeah, yeah. It's it's sweet. It's wholesome. It's well, maybe with the exception of Stoker here, these books I've picked have something that are just needed, at a time where, uh, you can be, the future's uncertain, or you're going through a difficult time or whatever. These are books that I would turn to for, just to be refreshed in my soul, from a book. Or if I'm feeling a little demented, I'll pick up Dracula,
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
yeah.
Art, thank you so much for
You
joining
bet.
me for this. And it was such a delight to get to hear your list of books.
Yeah, yeah, sure thing. I love thinking through lists and trying to pick out favorites. It's always hard, but I think if I had these books with me on a deserted island, I might not wave down that passing ship that's come to rescue me. Come back in a couple months. I'll be ready.
Love it. Oh, well, thank you everyone for watching, and I will be back with another video soon. Bye.